It's been quite an offseason.
Jared Goff. Jared Goff.
Contract extensions.
Let's go.
Ross St. Brown, Penny Sewell, and now
how do you think he's feeling right now?
Cashes in $212 million, $170 million in guaranteed money.
They went to Jared.
Deal for Jared Goff that just gets done getting married this offseason. Now has extra money to go on a honeymoon as the Lions.
Welcome back, sports fans. Thank you for returning for another video. I am your host, Johnny Gaz, coming at you with breaking news on a Monday. I was just recording and editing a video regarding the Lions quarterback situation. I was going to do a player profile on backup quarterback Hendon Hooker and ultimately try and tell you guys on why the Lions need to sign Jared Goff. Well, guess what? The mega deal for the quarterback happened today. The Lions organization hands out another bag in this 2024 offseason, making Jared Goff the Lions' highest paid player in franchise history. We are going to dive into the contract details today and talk about the Lions' future. Let's go. Before we talk about the second highest quarterback in the NFL, make sure to slap that like button if you dig the vibe here at Johnny Gaz Sports. Hit the subscription button and notify bell so you don't miss any future videos on the channel. I thank you guys so much for the recent support on the recent videos. We just got off one talking about Jameson Williams and his importance to the Lions offense as we head into 2024. All the comments, all the likes, I am overwhelmed with the support. I cannot tell you how much I love talking Lions football with you guys. Thank you for coming along for the ride. Let's get into today's topic. So let's talk about what we know about the Goff extension. This is courtesy of Spot Track here. Very basic information. What we know is a 4-year, $212 million extension signed with the Detroit Lions that includes up to $170 million of guaranteed money and an average annual salary of $53 million per year. That's a very high number as we discuss the future of the Detroit Lions. It's kind of a shocking number, but we talked about in previous videos, what the elite quarterbacks are being paid, and we're going to look at those tiers here in just a moment. But ultimately, Jared Goff has earned himself a 4-year extension for huge money. This is his second 4-year contract. Remember, he's coming off the 4-year deal he had with the Rams. They did a little restructuring as he got with the Lions. And ultimately, he has now earned himself the next mega deal for a quarterback in the NFL. When the news first broke and you hear 212 at 4 years, you do the math in your head, you go, wow, $53 million per year. It's a shocking number. Again, we've talked in previous videos about $50 million sort of being that line for those next level quarterbacks. And you see here, the NFL's now currently lists for highest paid quarterbacks. What I like about the contract is that they didn't blindly just throw the highest contract at Jared Goff, making him then the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. It did not supersede the Joe Burrow contract, which again you see here as the AAV of $55 million per year. He is above the Patrick Mahomes number of 52.65, and then obviously following suit, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts. People who don't support Jared Goff, who weren't supportive of a mega deal like this for him, will look at this list here and use this as support in a sense of Jared Goff not being in the elite category as a Joe Burrow, as a Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, so on and so forth. I will argue a few things against that here in just a little bit. It is a shocking number. But as far as the sheer contract goes and looking at numbers in comparison to where the NFL is going with their contracts, let's take the fan side of this out. Let's forget about the fact if you support Jared Goff or you don't. The Lions have found a quarterback that is winning for them, that they obviously trust and want to move forward with. Quarterbacks are now earning in excess of $50 million per year, these annual average values, okay? That's going to continue to go up and up and up. That's the trajectory of NFL contracts. Deciding to pay this quarterback now, I think, was the smartest decision they could make. I was saying that months ago in a Jared Goff video we did a few months back just after the season ended. I wanted them to pay him right then and there. They didn't wait much longer, and I think this was the right move because ultimately you're going to have guys like Dak Prescott. For instance, that's just one example. I think Patrick Mahomes is going to restructure his deal. You're going to have other guys coming up the pipeline, Justin Lawrence, for instance. Trevor Lawrence from Jacksonville. Those guys are going to earn contracts, I believe, above and beyond what Jared Goff was now just paid, the $53 million. Ultimately, by association, that will make this contract for Jared Goff look better. So I implore you not to panic about the number. If that's something that worries you as far as the Lions extending this contract, I think this falls in line with what he's earned. I truly do. So $53 million, 4 years, $212 for Jared Goff. Now, more will come out about the terms of the Jared Goff contract and, looking at the years and is it front-loaded, back-loaded, so on and so forth. We'll get that information here over the next few days. But from sportingnews.com, where we pulled the list of highest paid quarterbacks, they also go on to give you contracts with the most guaranteed money. That also includes the new Jared Goff contract. And if you see here, he then does slip down the list to number 7 behind Jalen Hurts, Lamar, Patrick, Justin, Joe Burrow, and of course we know about the huge guaranteed money handed to Deshaun Watson. But if you look at it now in terms of the guaranteed money, you got to start to feel a little bit better about this, right? Because if at the end of the 4 years it's not working out, and God forbid that happens, knock on wood, we all want the Lions to win a Super Bowl this year, and we'll talk about that in more detail here in just a bit. But if the worst case happens, an injury, he just doesn't play up to how he's been playing these last couple seasons, the guaranteed money doesn't truly stack up in the highest tiers. So as much as the 212 at 4 years seems scary, it's not as much guaranteed money as some of these other contracts. On top of that, if you look at the overall value of contracts, again, the same list of quarterbacks here, which now does include the new Jared Goff contract. Again, more details will come out on this, but right now at $212 million, he's sitting at 9th on this list. Patrick Mahomes leads the charge at $450 million. Again, that's very incentive-based. On top of his current contract, they've restructured a lot of things. Then falls in line Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, so on and so forth. Jared Goff now falling 9th in that list. So again, when you look at 4 years, $212 million, you hear 53 AAV or annual average value, it can be a scary number. But then you kind of look at, okay, what's the overall value of the contract? How does it break down truly? I don't think that the Lions have put themselves in a terrible position. And again, like we talked about starting this segment, is that this is the way of the NFL contract. And as these other guys start to get paid, this will look even better by association. And I know it comes off as I'm just trying to sell the positivity of this. It's a huge freaking contract, man. It's a mega deal. It was shocking when I first heard it. I had to kind of wrap my head around how I felt, truly. But I've talked about this, and I'm not going to waver from it now because they've paid him so much money. He has earned this contract. Jared Goff was a throwaway for Los Angeles. After taking them to the Super Bowl, and yes, he had some struggles in those following seasons, he was a throwaway in that trade for Matthew Stafford. And again, if we go back to the video I did several months back, and I'll post the link here for you guys so if you can take a look at it, I go through the stats in detail, and I give a ton of reasons why I truly believe Jared Goff is the Lions quarterback and can win them a Super Bowl. And again, we'll talk about that here a little bit more in detail. For anyone making an argument that Jared Goff hasn't statistically supported the argument for this contract, he had 4,575 yards in 2023, 30 touchdowns to 12 interceptions at a 67.3% completion percentage. We all know the historic season the Lions had. Okay, they won their first division title since 1993, their first playoff game win since 1991. Jared Goff is the third quarterback all time to record 14-win seasons with multiple teams. You know who the other two quarterbacks are to do that? Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. That's an incredible stat when you really truly sit down and think about it. Not only that, but Jared Goff has gotten better each year that he's been with the Lions. We want to talk about what somebody has done for us lately. Well, each year, 21, 22, 23, statistically, he's gotten better in a lot of the key statistical categories. Yards per game, touchdowns, all of that stuff. And again, we go through that in detail in other videos. So his play supports this contract. No, he's not the athletic Lamar Jackson. He may not have the arm of Joe Burrow. He may not have the overall superstardom that is Patrick Mahomes. But Jared Goff is a winner. Jared Goff has overcome adversity, and he's made the best of a bad situation and taken Lions fans to a place that we've never been before. So to me, this is a fantastic day, not only for Jared Goff, but for the Lions organization, Lions fans, and football fans in general. The Lions organization in the past haven't been willing to pay out these mega contracts. Well, over the 2023 and the 2024 offseason, they've now handed out mega deals to a wide receiver, an offensive lineman, and now their quarterback. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Penei Sewell, and now Jared Goff. All three of these guys have earned these contracts with their play, with things that they do within the organization, outside of the organization. I mean, it seems to all be coming together. The Lions have paid out over $300-some million in guaranteed contracts in this offseason, which is just incredible. So all credit goes to Sheila Hamp, the Ford family, and the ownership group there. Ultimately, Brad Holmes for cultivating the talent in the organization to have a need to pay these players. So everything is really looking up as we head into 2024. Yes, the future is looking up. But what is that future for not only Jared Goff, but for the Lions? You know, in the quarterback room, people who are detractors to Jared Goff will still bring up Hendon Hooker. In my previous video, I got a lot of comments on Jared Goff can't get the ball to Jameson Williams. Well, Hendon Hooker should come in. I mean, I see it and I feel it from a lot of Lions fans. This mega deal pretty much solidifies the fact that Hendon Hooker is not the quarterback of the future for the Detroit Lions. And I would have said that a week ago, a month ago, and I'm saying it again right now. But that doesn't mean that Hendon Hooker cannot be an asset to this team. I spent a lot of time, like I said in the intro to this video, researching Hendon Hooker, and I was going to give you guys a player profile on him as the backup quarterback. And I think my argument overall is that I think the Lions, the offense, Ben Johnson, will find a way to use him, to continue to cultivate him and build him into an asset, into an athletic quarterback that can back up Jared Goff. So if he does get injured or need, to sit a play or a series off or a game off, or forbid that there's an extended period of time that he needs to miss, they should continue to build Hendon Hooker behind him. Cultivate a backup quarterback. What's wrong with that? I've heard fans, and I've forever wanted them to have, you got to have a reliable backup quarterback. That's what you need in the NFL. Hendon Hooker is a special case. Yes, they made some moves in the third round to get him. It was kind of out of nowhere. And he does have some traits that Jared Goff doesn't have. But in no way, shape, or form was I going to hand the reins over to an unproven quarterback, especially in looking at what Jared Goff has given you over the past several seasons. And I've made these arguments. I'm not going to. Ultimately, the question is, can the Lions take the next step? They were half a football away from getting to a Super Bowl. Well, now with Jared Goff as the franchise guy, can the Lions win a Super Bowl with Jared Goff at the helm? And my answer is yes. Again, they were just short of getting there, and certainly the fact that they didn't get there was not because of Jared Goff. He played excellent into the end of the season and certainly into the playoffs. With a couple plays made there in the NFC Championship game, they would have been there. And with his trajectory as far as statistics, the leadership characteristics he's showing, the fact that the Lions continue to insulate him with pieces not only on the offensive line, but, we have the tight end Sam Laporta, who we've just talked about. Jahmyr Gibbs is on the up and up. We just came off the video with Jameson Williams, and if he takes a step up, again, the insulation around Jared Goff just continues to get better and better, or more and more, that will continue to elevate him into that elite status. We don't need to discuss today whether he's elite. Just because he earned the contract doesn't change his status as a quarterback. He's the guy who he was that played in 2023, that ended the season. And he'll continue to be that guy. And that's why I have all the faith in the world that this was the right move for the Lions, for Jared Goff, for Lions fans, and everyone who supports Lions in general. So I'm very excited. I think this was a good day. Jared Goff earns himself a 4-year contract, $212 million, $170 million guaranteed. And the Lions have their guy. And they headed in 2024 with a clear picture at quarterback, at wide receiver, on the offensive line. They've solidified their defensive backfield. They drafted well again, in my opinion. Things are looking good in 2024. They've had a fantastic offseason already, and I'm excited to see what's ahead. All right, guys, you got to tell me, what do you think of this mega contract? Did they pay him too much? Did they pay him just right? Are you happy with the deal? Are you happy with Jared Goff at the helm? Can Jared Goff win the Lions a Super Bowl? Let me know down in the comments. I'm very curious where Lions fans are at. I'm curious kind of what the details will be of this contract over the next couple days. I'll try to keep you guys updated on future videos if more details come out on this contract. We're going to have the schedule release coming up very soon. So come back and see me for that. We'll go through the schedule in detail. We'll make some record prediction for the Detroit Lions. That should be a lot of fun. But again, I thank you guys so much for the recent support. The support in general has just been fantastic. Make sure to like the video. If you dig the vibe here at Johnny Gaz Sports, hit that subscription button and the notify bell so you don't miss any future videos on the channel. We are now on a road officially to 1,000 subscribers. Again, I thank you guys so much for that support. Make sure to take care of yourself, physical, your mental health. That's number one. I want to make sure I see you guys on future videos. Thank you so much for your time. I will see you very, very soon.